My name's Aaron Massey, and today I'm going to show you how I took this old hatchet head that I found in the shed and restored it to a fully functional hatchet that's as good as new. Spoiler alert, it will kill. I was cleaning some things up in the shed the other day and I came across this old hatchet head. I recently got a hold of the new DeWalt 20 volt max tools with flex bolt technology, and I thought that this would be a great project to put the angle grinder to the test. Now, I've never tried to restore a hatchet or any old weapon before, so I figured, what the hell? Decided I'd just give it a shot. So the first thing I decided to do with the head is to make it a little more aggressive looking by modifying the shape a little bit. I don't really have a good reason for why I did this. It was just something that I thought looked better, so I figured, what the heck. So once I cut the shape with the cutoff disc, I switched over to a flap disc to clean it up and remove the rust. After I spent a little bit of time on it, it actually cleaned up really nice and got rid of pretty much all the rust on it. Now with the head mostly cleaned up, I started on the handle. I had a piece of 6/4 walnut lying around that was just about the size that I needed, so I decided to use that. Now if I were planning on using this hatchet a lot, I'd probably opt for maybe a little harder wood like ash or hickory, but I think this will be fine because I probably won't use it all that much anyway. After looking online at a few different hatchet handle ideas, I freehanded a rough handle shape with a Sharpie and I just cut it out on the bandsaw. From there, I used the flap disc on the angle grinder to refine the shape so it had an ergonomic feel in my hand. Once I got the shape pretty dialed in, I switched over to the orbital sander and worked my way up to 220 grit to smooth over all the details. So once I had the handle mostly dialed in, I did some additional sketching and shaping to get the top of the handle right so that it could mount to the head. Once I had it mostly laid out, I took it over to the bandsaw to cut a slice in it and thin it to roughly the size of the head. With a little more adjusting, I did a rough test to make sure it fit, and then I cut a wedge out of some maple. As far as sharpening the head goes, I just used a combination of some whetstones that I have for my chisels and also the orbital sander. I don't really have a great sharpening system for a hatchet head, so I don't really know what I'm doing here, but it seemed to be plenty sharp. Now I used some epoxy on the wedge and drove it in place with the mallet to set the head on the handle and let it set up before coming back in and cutting the excess handle length off with a flush trim saw. From there, it's just a matter of adding some finish. I elected to go with some tung oil for the handle, so I added some masking tape to the head so as to not get the oil on it. And then I added a bunch of coats of tung oil finish to it, making sure to let it cure fully with each coat. After a few days of drying and a little more tweaking to make sure that the head was extra sharp, this thing is ready to test out. So that's it for this project. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I had a ton of fun bringing this old hatchet head back to life. It's not something that I do very often, so it was a fun little restoration challenge, and I can definitely see how making hatchets and knives could becoming a very addicting hobby. As always, if you guys want more information about this or any of my other DIY projects, make sure you guys check out my website at mrfixitdiy.com or just click on the link in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.